This is a brief documentary about educational philosophist Henery Giroux. Henery Giroux became a leading figure in the radical education theory in the 1980s. He revived the argument for civic education proposed by main educational theorists of the 20th century, namely Dewey and Fourier. He advanced their theories by expanding them into the idea of broader pedagogy. Broader pedagogy is attentive to developing a democratic public philosophy that respects the notion of difference as part of a common struggle to extend the quality of life. Giroux provides us with a vision for education that addresses the challenges which demographically and politically changing Western societies are facing at the beginning of the 21st century. Giroux made groundbreaking contributions to numerous fields including education, critical theory, youth studies, cultural studies, media studies, higher education, and public pedagogy. Giroux held positions at Boston University, Miami University of Ohio, Penn State, and the Global TV Network Chair in English and Cultural Studies at McMaster University in Hamilton, Canada. He has written over 50 books on youth, the state of America, and neoliberalism are constant themes of his work. Written on democracy and commercialization of public schools and higher education are also topics that he has written about. Giroux believes the longer it takes for policymakers in education to take his guidance seriously, the more time and possibilities we will be wasting and missing. In fact, educators at all levels of the educational system in all over the world are experiencing growing demotivation and even frustration because they feel they have been forced backwards lately instead of moving forwards and challenging themselves both as professionals and citizens to meet the needs of our fast-changing societies. Giroux has urged educators and academics to react against these paralyzing pressures and to be critical, creative, and hopeful about the potential that both they and their students offer in order to counter the conservative political tendencies which have been imposing a definition of excellence in education that means submission to market pressures rather than educational excellence in terms of innovative. Giroux argues for both critique and possibility in education and advocates independence and responsibility for teachers and students. That is, he claims dignity and respect for educational institutions, teachers, and students' intellectual production. Giroux has indeed advanced a new school of thought and inspired both educational theorists and practitioners into action with his powerful, vibrant, and committed voice. By advocating a pedagogy of responsibility, he has himself taken responsibility for his own political and social role as an academic. He has forced his sight in redefining the strengthening and notion of the public with regard to knowledge, education, and civic life. While most educational theorists have focused on the influence of society on the educational context, Giroux, although critically unveiling the political and economic forces that threaten academic and school independence and creativity, is more daring and clearly draws our attention to the transformative potential of the academic and the school within wider society. Giroux has always argued that teachers must be treated as a critical public resource, essentially not only to the importance of an empowering educational experience for students, but also the formation of a democratic society. At the institutional level, this means giving teachers the opportunity to exercise power over the conditions of their own work. We cannot separate what teachers do from economic and political conditions that shape their work, that is, their academic labor. This means they should have both the time and power to institute structural conditions that allow them to produce curriculum, collaborate with parents, conduct research, and work with communities. Moreover, school buildings must be limited in size to permit teachers and others to construct, maintain, and enhance a democratic community for themselves and their students.
Created using Powtoon.